Well, let's meet one of the busiest working people at Flavour Fest. He's Mel Harradine, and I like to think of you as Gadget Man.
I am. I'm called Mr. Gadget Man. I'm called Mr. Silicone, and I think I might even change my middle name, which is John to Malcolm Silicone Harradine. I think it would be very fitting. But I just love any gadgets, and I get to test the latest gadgets that come out in the market, including a microwave, which actually is not a lid going out, but actually goes upwards, and it looks like a little spaceship called the Sputnik. So that's not even launched yet. So I get the pleasure of actually testing these products. And some of the products I've got here today and I did yesterday was something that can cut an onion up. It's got 4 little blades in a little bowl, and it can actually cut a whole onion up in 5 seconds. An Orca glove that can actually take racks out of the oven at 240 degrees. You know, there's so many new products coming on the line. For instance, Robert Welsh knives. I mean, they are finest knives in the business from Gloucestershire. And they designed it in Gloucestershire, and they've still got the design rooms there. And I had the privilege of actually going there to actually see the new knives coming off the line. So, again, there's so many lines coming out. But the one thing I find with gadgets is it should not end up in the drawer after you've used it once. You should use it daily. If you don't use that particular gadget more than twice a week, then get rid of it, because it's pointless clutching up all your drawers and cupboards, etc. But I've got products which I've been using for 3 years. I use them regularly, and that's what you need in the kitchen. And I've got a book coming out actually in the end of October, talking about what you need to set up your home, set up your kitchen. If you're downsizing, also that can be a problem, what to throw away and what to keep. And also people going to universities, what do they need? They need the basic things to keep them going for the 2-3 years that they're in university. So
Is it the case with things like the most basic components of a kitchen, the knives and so forth, that it's worth spending a bit more because they'll last a lifetime?
Correct. You get what you pay for. That's an old expression. And something like knives, you must be looking around about £30 to £60 per knife. But if you look after that knife, and more importantly, if you sharpen it properly and regularly, then you should have these knives for your lifetime, and you can actually pass these knives on to the next generation. And in fact, when I was doing a cheese festival last year down in Sturminster Newton, a lady actually bought her grandmother's knife and asked if I could resharpen it. It took me nearly half an hour, but I actually got a boned knife actually back to the sharpness by using the proper steel to actually sharpen that knife. And I used a knife sharpener, but it just shows you that knife was probably 90 years old.
Now, one of the things that you said in the demonstration yesterday was you asked people how often they sharpen their knives, and then you told them how often they should. So go on, how often should you?
Whenever you use knives, particularly the chefs, they do it every day after they've done a lot of shredding or using general knives in practice. It's not the sharpening of the knife. Once the knife is sharp, all you're doing is honing. Actually, they call it honing of the blade. And what you should do before you put them away at night, you should sharpen them. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the side of a steel, and then put them to bed. And do it regularly, and then you'll always have sharp knives. And of course, the other expression that comes in, a dangerous knife is a blunt knife. Because what you're doing, because the knife isn't sharp, you're using this part and forcing your knife down onto a food like, say, a pepper, and that could easily slip down onto your fingers and cut yourself. So really, the sharper the knife, the better, because it's the weight of the knife and the sharpness of the blade that actually does the work.
Now, that's great advice, Mel, but before we let you go, there's one other thing I want you to tell us about, because I was fascinated by the halogen oven yesterday.
Yeah, the halogen has been around many, many years. In the shopping channels where I come from, that's where it all started, and also for the campers and caravan and motorhomes. Because it's only about 1.3 to 1.4 kilowatts, when you look at a standard oven, 2.5, 3 kilowatts, the saving on energy, and that's where halogen has come into its own, is it saves roughly, well, between 40 and 50% of the electricity or gas that you're using, or electricity in this point. Also, it's about a third quicker cooking time, and you've got 360 degree visibility. So for people, older people that find it a struggle to get down to take things in and out of the oven, you have this actually on the surface, and you're working down. So it's much safer for the senior citizens. Anyone with dexterity problems will use that. And of course, it's saving you money. It could save, if you use it daily, up to £30, £40 a quarter on your electricity bill. So again, you know, it's a fantastic line. It's come into its own. And I actually did a whole chicken in 1 hour 15 minutes, including the roast potatoes, including roast peppers, and also garlic. And people tasted that chicken yesterday on the Lawson stands where I am, other than being here on stage, and they could not believe how succulent that chicken was. And the reason for that is because it's a halogen light bulb, sends out radiant heat. Radiant heat will render off any excess fat, so it's healthy for you. And of course what it does is browns the chicken all over. The air is the heat coming out of the halogen oven is actually forced around the bowl in a confined space by a fan in the top that sends this around, I think around about 80, 90 mile an hour around the bowl, and that is what's basting your food. So you don't actually have to keep opening up your oven door, letting more of your energy out. The actual air is basting the actual chicken in that case.
You've convinced me, Mel. I'm going to go and buy one right now.
More stock now.
Oh, well, maybe next time. Anyway, look, thank you so much for talking to us, and have a good day at Flavour Fest.
I will. Thank you. And I'll turn up because it's going to be a nice sunny day, I believe.